Well, hello guys. This is Katie with Vintage and Vinyl, and tonight I have Susie on from Mid-Century Maven. I'm so excited, Susie, that you're joining us. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Oh, awesome. Now, Susie is over on Instagram, and I've been following her account for a while, and she has some amazing things, so definitely go follow Susie. Now, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, Susie?
I have had lots of careers in my day. I probably my longest career was as a makeup artist when I lived out in LA. So I had a taste of Hollywood for some time. I think I was about 25 years doing that. Everything from TV shows, commercials, video, music videos, things like that, and enjoyed that a lot. That was really fun. I've been in radio and I'm an artist, and a collector. I've been collecting since high school. So, that's kind of rounds it up. Lots of odd jobs too. Lots of fun little odd jobs. If I get bored, I move on.
Well, I bet you have a lot of fun stories to tell, specifically with your time in Hollywood. That must have been so fascinating getting to work with the stars.
It was fun. Yeah, I was probably the closest one to them, so it was pretty fun. Lots of stories.
I have to ask, who was one of the most favorite people that you got to meet while you were doing that?
I know exactly who. Shelley Winters. I got to work with Shelley Winters, and she was a hoot. I mean, I could write almost a book just the stories that I have from her. So I loved working with her, and she was so loved on the set. Everyone just was so thrilled to work with her.
Well, maybe a book is coming then for you, so you can tell your stories, because I know we would all be first in line.
Oh, thanks, Katie.
So let's say hello to a few folks that are joining us in the chat tonight. Carrie is coming in from KCATX. She's in Austin. And we have Calypso Cat here. She's got a great channel. Hey. Sharon Delaney's popping in, and Cindy Brenner. We have Mr. Vintage Vinny in the house. He's our resident comedian, so he's going to keep us laughing for the evening. Good. Amy is here, Amy Weaver. Jay Goodwin, hello, hello. Barbie's joining us. Angela Marksberry. We have Jeannie coming in from Norma Jean +1. Helen Casey. Vinny's already excited about Shelley Winters. Bree Gia joining us. T. Marie, new name. Welcome, welcome. And so many other folks in the chat tonight. So thanks, guys, for joining us and tuning in. Now, at any point during this show, if you have a question, you can certainly ask it. Just type it in the chat, and I'll highlight here on the screen for Susie. Now, Susie's coming in tonight to show some of her vintage jewelry. And we were talking a little bit about the jewelry before the show. And she collects 50s and 60s, but loves all jewelry. Is that right?
Yes, I collect just about anything. It didn't start off that way, but I branched into other collections as I grew. I started back, like I said, back in the 70s. I think I really started collecting jewelry. So it's been a long time.
So what led you to collecting jewelry? Was it the sparkle of it all, or what really sparked your love for it?
Well, my very first actually paid job, I was about 10 years old, and I had a little box I had pins and equipment in there, and I'd go door to door in the neighborhood. That was when you could go door to door in the neighborhood, send your 10-year-old off. And I would, for 10 cents a necklace, I would unknot their necklaces, because women's necklaces would get knotted up, and I would unknot them and bring them back all straightened out for them. So I was very young when I started playing with jewelry. And I think that kind of got me going. And, as I got older, I just had a love for it. So I don't know. I haven't met a piece of jewelry I haven't loved, I think.
What a wonderful story. And I'm sure you saw all different eras of jewelry, and that probably was really fascinating from a young age. I mean, who doesn't love some bling, right?
Right, exactly. And I love your pins. I love when you match your pin and your hat. I wear a brooch every single day too, so I appreciate it a lot.
Well, we have to bring back the brooch, right? I think that it really does add something extra to your outfit when you throw it on, and it's fun to match. And tonight I have this brooch. Maybe you can tell me a little bit about it. I think it's 1950s, but I'm not 100% sure.
It looks like I can't tell by without actually getting up close, but it looks like it's a moon glow where as you turn the pin, it kind of the glow kind of follows you a little.
Oh, wow. Now, I've never heard of that particular brooch.
And it kind of looks like that stone there, that solid stone, but it's beautiful.
Well, thank you. And I see you're wearing a hat. You look fabulous in your vintage hat.
Thank you. I have my brooch here. I have a little Bakelite one on tonight. It's a little Bakelite horse.
Oh,
So
I just love those. I've been on the hunt for one of them. I think that would be fun to add to my collection.
yeah.
So, Suzzee, show us your most favorite brooch in your collection.
My most favorite brooch. Okay, let me grab some up here.
And hello to everybody coming in the chat. I see Martha's here and Vintage Loving Nerd and so many other folks. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. It is just awesome having Suzzee here tonight.
I have so many favorites. This one I think may be one of the ones that I really like. This is from a Cecil B. DeMille movie. I think it was given maybe to the crew or maybe it was just made as a keepsake. I found this at an estate sale, and inside it says Cecil B. DeMille, and it is a Native American, and you can see the beautiful headdress. It's sterling silver, and I kind of treasure this one because it's also a piece of Hollywood. So this one, maybe one of my favorites. It's like children. I just can't pick favorites. But I did bring my very first brooch that I was able to dig up when I was looking, getting ready, and I saw it and I said, well, I probably should bring that to share with you.
Oh,
and
absolutely.
It's just these little Harlequin faces. I got it. I was probably maybe 12 years old, 13 years old. Maybe I was a little older, maybe 13, 14, junior high school. And I wore this to death. I just thought this was the coolest thing. So this kind of got me started with the wearing brooches. So that's an older piece too.
That is absolutely amazing, Suzzee. I love the enamel detail on that pen with the Harlequin faces. It's so cute. I see Vinny saying that he really likes the enamel flower pens that come in a wide variety of colors because he puts them in his junk jars.
Oh, really? Okay. Now I do collect those, and this is how I'm starting to display them now. I found this great box that I can hang on the wall, and then I can just open it up when I want to get one out. So I can come over, open them up. And I just thought they look so pretty hanging on the wall. And then I can enjoy them and see them because they're usually tucked away in drawers. I keep most of my jewelry in little drawers. I have, I wrote it down. I counted my drawers, 54 drawers for my jewelry.
Wow, 54 drawers. Now, are they all brooches or they include other jewelry?
No, this is what a drawer would look like. So I label what's in the drawer. This is my bling brooches. So this would just be one drawer, of the bling. So the drawers they're thin. I have a few thicker drawers, but so 54 of these drawers are full of my collection. And the hanging, that's not necklaces or anything. That's just brooches and bracelets. So it's a big collection.
That is absolutely fantastic. We do have a question coming in from Christy, Tippy Winks Vintage, and she loves uranium. So she's asking if you have any uranium pieces in your collection.
I have one piece. I didn't bring it down tonight, but I do have one piece, and it's very hard to find jewelry like that. I have sold pieces before. If I have something for a while or it doesn't speak to me anymore, that's why I sell jewelry, because I have so much of it, and as I'm getting older, I've got to thin it out, and it's got to go to somebody. My daughter doesn't like jewelry, so I'm trying to share it with the world and let it go live on somebody else.
Now, most of the jewelry you are finding, do you pick this up at estate sales or auctions or vintage shops?
All of the above. Yeah, all of the above. I'm usually searching, 4 or 5 times a week. I'm also searching for other things too, mid-century modern pieces, but the jewelry is what I really concentrate on. Yeah, and sometimes I'll buy a whole lot of jewelry from someone. They'll say, oh, my grandma died or something happened, and I'll go out there and I'll buy the whole shebang. And that's interesting because you find a likeness in their jewelry, kind of, they may have a certain taste or a certain feel for certain jewelry. So it's kind of fun to catch a collection and see what they have. But I really, if anyone's thinking of collecting jewelry, or even if you're out buying estate jewelry, the one thing that I like to do is ask questions and find out the history of it and find out something about it, because as you wear that piece and you know the history of it, it really makes it special. Even though it's not your history, it kind of makes it a special piece to you. So, I really encourage people to ask questions. Even at an estate sale, they may know something about it.
And that's the fun part of kind of bringing this vintage back to life with a fun story. So, do you have a piece that has a really unique story that you can share with us?
Most of the stuff I have pieces that just, personal stories, maybe not from someone else. I have one of my more sentimental pieces is this ring. I'll actually put it on. This, my mom wore this, so it was my mom's ring. And then the center of it here, the little triangle with the diamond, was a necklace that my grandma wore. So I married
Oh,
those two together when they both passed away, and so that has special meaning. That was kind of a story of the two of them and putting them together. So it's a fine piece of jewelry. I mean, it's gold and diamond, but even jewelry that is not gold, costume jewelry. This necklace, for instance, my dad gave me this necklace, and it's a copy of a Jackie Onassis piece.
oh, wow.
And it was, I think he purchased it at the New York Museum of Art. It's a museum piece, and they replicate it. And probably just because my dad gave it to me, it's got sentiment. But it's a lovely piece, and the fact that it's a replica, it's kind of fun. I kind of feel like royalty. So
Those are fabulous pieces. We do have a store here in St. Augustine. I don't remember the name of it, but they actually specialize in recreating famous folks' jewelry. They have a whole line from the
wow,
Queen. They have a whole line from, famous movie stars, Marilyn Monroe's wedding ring you can buy. I mean, they're all
how
faux
fun.
stones, but it's just amazing. Now, we do have a question coming in from Carrie, and she's asking if you have a preference for gold or silver tone jewelry.
I do not. I think gold looks better personally on me. Um, and a lot of the 1950s pieces were made in gold. Or even the pot metals, they would show them more as gold than silver. So I probably have more gold in my collection just because of that. A lot of the vintage pieces, you don't, it's harder to find the silver tone in the 50s and 60s.
And is there a reason for that? Do you find that maybe it's just because during that time gold was in, or is there a more practical reason?
I don't know. I don't know the reasoning behind it. It might just be popularity of the time, you know. I mean, that's probably it. Gold was more expensive than silver, and so even with the costume jewelry, they want to make it look, a little richer.
Fancier. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Now, Jeannie's asking, is there anything that you found that you wish you could, and from what country?
Something that I've never found that I wished I could. Ooh, I have a lot of stuff from Russia. I like some of the Russian brooches and things. Something I have not found. Oh, my white whale. That's a tough one. I think I found so many things. There's nothing that I'm really searching for. If that's what you're asking. No, nothing specific that I have a list of.
That's fantastic that you found so much of what you're already looking for. Because I mean, you have such a cool collection. I still can't get over how many drawers you have of brooches. That is absolutely fascinating to me. Now, what is your most expensive piece in your collection? Or maybe this is many pieces.
Most expensive piece. You know, I did buy a lot from a woman. Let me see if I have it. These may be some of the higher end pieces. I don't go for fine jewelry that much. My husband has bought me some pieces, but I'm more of a costume jewelry girl. But I did buy a lot on this side here from a woman, and these are all gold and diamonds.
Oh,
So
my
I'm
word.
going to have to say, you know, probably, maybe one of these. These stay in the vault, but I pulled them out for tonight. And this woman she was from Florida, and she's had some big rings, and they were all commissioned. Her family told me she had commissioned all these rings. So, this may be some of the pricier ones, and you know,
That is so gorgeous. That's very Art Deco looking in my
very, yeah. Deco, I always go to Deco. I loved Art Deco, and I love mid-century jewelry too, which is hard to find. I have some pieces, but the mid-century stuff I'm drawn to a lot.
Now, our Bakelite piece is a little bit harder to find nowadays. Do you find
You can find them. They're just pricey. Yeah,
expensive?
they're
Yeah.
very pricey. I know if you're out in California, the Rose Bowl, there's a lot at the Rose Bowl. I've bought a lot out there when I go out to California.
Nate is in the chat, and he's coming in
Hi,
from New
Nate.
Zealand, and he loves what you just showed, and he collects antique silver. So he has several antique silver brooches,
Wow.
I know, in his collection.
Yeah,
So
I love older silver too. Here's some older silver brooches. Love this horse right
oh,
here.
that's fabulous. The detail on these things are just incredible.
Right. And then this panther on top of that lapis, and the bird over here. So
Now,
these are all silver and vintage pieces.
what is really the best way to date a brooch?
Well, I am still actually learning, Katie. I'm no expert. I should have said that right off the bat. I'm no expert. I'm just a collector, but I'm learning with the housing. So the housing on your pieces, the clasps and the metals, there if you start to read about it and look into that, certain clasps started in certain times. So pre-1920s would have more of a C clasp maybe on a brooch. If you have a brooch that just has a little C that you tuck it under, and you don't have to do anything but just tuck the pin under the C brooch, that's probably going to date pre-1920s. And then after that, they started doing the spring clasp like you see on a lot of jewelry, the little turn. If I can get that close enough for you to see, that would
Right.
be, little clasp that opens and closes. That was later. So, I think it's mostly in the housings and the metal.
In the
And of course,
metal.
the style
That's very
too.
helpful. Now, I did hear recently that if the pin extends a little bit farther than the pin back, it can help date a brooch. Have you found that to be true?
Yes. A lot of times the pin will come, like this one, it comes very far to the edge here.
Okay, so that makes a lot of sense.
So a lot of them, they would fill. I'm trying to see if I've got another older one here. Well, this is a very old piece. This one right here, very Art Deco-y, Nouveau. I love all the work on that, the open work. And the back of that one is just like a safety pin. So you see it's just kind of like a safety pin on the back.
Oh, wow.
So, that dates back. It doesn't really work as well. It doesn't stay on as well, which I'm afraid to wear it. But you look at stuff like that, and then you can kind of get a feel. And you can always go to a jeweler. They're usually happy to tell you, what what dates a piece of jewelry. So
that would be a great segment for another day, is to go to several jewelry stores and talk with some of the
yeah,
folks there. I
yeah,
think that would be great. But
yeah.
it's wonderful learning from you, Susie. And I'm going to just turn the camera to you because I want to see some eye candy.
Okay,
And let
okay,
you
let's go.
some of your pieces. And Christy's been doing a great job. She's been putting your IG account in the chat. So
Thank you,
definitely
Christy.
go
She's
check
awesome.
out Susie, because she just has some amazing things.
Okay. Um, Uh, Bracelets are probably my number one. I really like bracelets a lot. And when I first started collecting, I really wanted bracelets that dangled and made sound. So I just did a sampling here just to kind of show you some of the things that, and a lot of these are that I've had for, 40 years. But anything that you kind of shake and hear a sound is something that I was drawn to in the very beginning. So you hear different sounds from each one. So,
Very sensory experience.
yes, sensory, exactly. And feeling these excuse me, these baubles on your wrist as you move, it's feel and it's sound. And I mean, there's so much more to it than just, a pretty piece, I think. So I think that, in the beginning I was drawn to this, and this is what I collected. Um, this piece actually is fairly new to my collection, but look at the size of these vegetables.
Wow, those are very large.
Almost impossible to wear.
But
But
that's
sound, it has its own sound. So, and and I wear everything. I try and always wear my jewelry and change it up all the time. But I'll remember, oh, that one has a soft sound, or this one has more of a soothing sound, or this one's annoying. So, think about that too when you're buying jewelry, is the feel and the sound. This one's all zodiac signs, and it's very noisy.
And that is a great way to really get started collecting jewelry, is to just go experience some of the sensory aspects of it,
Yeah.
feeling the sound and the weight and the way it feels against your skin.
If you want it to speak to you. If you're starting to collect, you may want to stay in one lane and collect. Maybe you start with bangles, or you start with just bangles. Maybe that's something that you do. It's hard to jump around. I have so many just because of the time that I've been doing it. So, but it can be overwhelming. It can be really overwhelming as a collector, to do that. But over time, you can, maybe add something else. Some people like to collect certain jewelry designers. I do not. That is not how I collect. So I don't have a designer or search to see the designer when I find something. I like to collect on what I love and what like I said, what speaks to me. So
And that's how I feel about brooches. Is, I love all brooches, and I really like Trifari pieces. I just think they're so
oh yeah,
and
very well.
beautiful. But I do love just collecting something because it's pretty. I
Right.
don't necessarily mind if it doesn't have a certain mark on it. To me, if it has a unique story and it's gorgeous, then that's what I want to pick up.
Yeah, I think that's good. Um, I
Melinda has a good question for you. She's asking if you have any Brutalist pieces from the 60s and 70s.
I do. Let's see what I've got. They're kind of scattered, but I do have earrings. I've got a great pair of, these are actually clip-on earrings, but I love this. I love the look of them. This is all backwards to me. So I'm going the
Yes,
wrong direction.
StreamYard is backwards. I should have warned you about that
But that's
before.
that's a nice brutalist piece of jewelry here, which I love, those clip-on earrings. I didn't bring a lot of earrings tonight. These little painted mermaids are probably 1980s. And
Wow, that is just
some
gorgeous.
larger 80s. Those kind of have a deco feel to me. These are very long, but they're very fun. 1960s, as are these triangles here are 1960s. You see the lucite. There was a lot of plastic jewelry when plastics came into into play. And so there's a lot of plastic jewelry, a lot of plastic bangles, which are now really highly collectible. You know, when now we think of a plastic piece of jewelry as just being nothing, you know, a piece of junk jewelry, but there's some beautiful plastic pieces. These are all a plastic clip-on earrings. And they made a lot of these. These are some of my favorites because they're lightweight. And with clip-ons, you know, sometimes they can weigh your ear down and not feel so good by the end of the day.
And they pinch.
Yeah. But there was a whole time when plastics came about and bracelets. You see all the plastic, 1950s, 1960s. You know, they started using plastics in jewelry. You look at fashion, you look at fashion and what was going on in fashion, what's going to reflect in the jewelry. But these are all plastic or celluloid and very lovely.
Now the ratio of plastics coming in, like ratio, I should say, from like Bakelite, celluloid to what we know as plastic today, how many pieces in each are you kind of seeing from the 50s? Is one more popular than the other?
I think Bakelite is still the front runner.
Still a front runner. And was that probably one of the most produced types of plastic then?
I don't think so. No, I think that I think more of these plastics when actual plastic was popular. You know, these type of bracelets here, they're all, you know, these are all over the place. Bakelite, not so much. You know, they were using Bakelite, remember, for radio knobs and other things. It was, you know, used in kitchen appliances. But the Bakelite jewelry, I don't think had, you know, a real long time frame, and that might be why you don't find as much.
That's very interesting and a great point.
Yeah.
We've had so many people commenting on the mermaids. They just love those mermaid earrings that you showed.
I wore those in the 80s. So, let's see. Let's do okay. I'm gonna have to reach up here. This is something else I collect. This is part of my enamel collection. It's copper enamel. These are all copper enamel pieces. So it's copper, and then they enamel on top of it with the design. They're always one of a kind because they are the way that they make them, it's got to be very free form. They're beautiful pieces of art, very mid-century. That's probably why I like them so much.
Oh, that boomerang is fantastic.
The boomerang, yeah, that's a great piece right there to depict mid-century, but these are to me, very, very mid-century pieces of jewelry. So I have a very large collection of the copper enamel. I don't wear it as much as I love it, though. I don't know why. I think I just treasure it so much. So it's tucked away and I look at it. But, you know, I pull it out every once in a while. Love diamond shape. Also, you can see the influence of mid-century design on these. So
I think sometimes the pieces of jewelry are just so beautiful. Like you said, you display them. And even if you're not wearing them, getting a chance to look at them on a pretty display like that or in a dish really can add something to your day every time you see it.
Yeah. And I'll pull out my husband will find me in bed watching TV, and I've pulled a drawer out of my collection and I'm just going through it and organizing it and, you know, just having some time with it. So.
Now, is one of the best ways to store vintage jewelry in flat drawers like that? Or does it matter if they're all kind of stacked together?
You should not really follow the way that I store my jewelry. I don't think it's the best way. I think if you could bag each one, you know, have it in a little bag or something, baggies that you can maybe see through, or have enough room to have them all laying by themselves, singular, not layered together. I tend to layer because I have so many, but it's not really the proper way to store them.
Mine are layered too. I have vintage Mealy jewelry cases, and I just keep piling them in, and I know that's not probably the best.
Yeah, they get scratched, they rub together and get scratched, so it's not really the best way. Now I used to put a one layer, and then I'd put a piece of tissue paper and do another layer. So that's, you know, that'll save you room. If you don't have a lot of space, you can do it that way too, and just something to protect them from scratching each other.
And Pamela coming in has a great collection of vintage jewelry as well. And she says that she keeps her vintage pieces they'll never sell in a binder inside of the baseball card pages.
That's a great idea. Yeah, that's a great idea.
Very,
It's
very
a perfect size for brooches or necklaces. Yeah, my chains, I do keep my chains in little like a pillbox kind of thing, and I have a bunch of them, and I keep each chain in its own because of course they tangle. So I do kind of care for those a little bit better.
Absolutely.
And then I'd have to pay myself 10 cents to untie each one. I don't want to do that.
That's right. You save money that way.
Right.
So can you show us some more brooches? Because of course I'm just so fascinated.
Yes. Yes. I think we need to have a brooch marathon, you and I.
Yes, we do. Oh man.
Okay, these are some of my favorite of what I call my glitzy brooches. They're just these are my stunners here. They're a little bit larger. This one over here is Aurora Borealis, and it's one of my favorite stones or treatments to a stone because it picks up so many different colors. This one right here, I have actually a set with earrings and a necklace and everything, but that's melt glass. So it's got melt glass stones with the rhinestones. And of course, Mr. Lobster.
And a lot of those are prong sets, so they're just great quality.
Yes. Yes, most of these are all prong set. Usually the rhinestones are prong set, which is nice. They're not glued in. They're more prong set. This one over here is just fun. Anything with movement I'm drawn to. Again, it's just a feel and a sound.
I have to say that lobster is spectacular.
Yes. And he has not been with me very long either. He's one of my newer finds.
Oh, these are just amazing.
The crown I have had a very long time, probably since the late 70s.
Now, how old do you think that crown brooch is?
It is probably from the 1940s, I'm thinking.
That is just amazing.
The 1940s. And again, I always look at the housing and the backing and kind of date it that way. It's all a guessing game when you buy secondhand, isn't it? You're not sure exactly when it's from or what's going on with it, but
and I think if you just like it, that's what matters.
Yes. Well, this might be the last brooch other than my flower power ones, my last brooch board that I brought down. Here you go with kind of a brutalist piece right there. I actually wear this pin a lot. It's silver, so
the nice thing about that is it goes with everything that you're going to wear.
Yeah, I really do. And this one right below it too, another very flowing mid-century piece of jewelry.
Very century.
So, and again, the dangles, movement. This little guy with the moving wings.
Oh, he's fun.
Little bug pins. This one, keep grabbing the wrong side. This one, again, the movement. I'm very drawn to anything that moves. And you got to have a leopard in your collection.
You do. Now, does the leopard have little Jimmy eyes?
Oh, this one does not. No. But yeah, they do. A lot of times they will.
I love the animals with the Jimmy eyes. For some reason, this makes me so happy.
And this I just think is a very large brooch, and it kind of catches on stuff when I wear it, but it just looks like a bunch of stick pins stuck into this center.
It kind of makes a starburst effect.
And I just pulled a stick pin out of it. But we'll fix that. Oh, and I do fix jewelry too. I will save it until it can't be saved anymore. And then it goes in the rifle bin.
You're keeping its history and story alive, which is just fantastic.
Yeah. And then I'll take all my broken jewelry and make things out of them too. I do craft with the broken jewelry. So I try and, bring it to life another way.
And Pamela's asking here, do you have one of the lay over your shoulder leopard?
I actually do. these are all my articulating jewelry, which is another whole collection of it in itself. But that's what she's talking about here, is this leopard or panther, and it lays over your shoulder. It has 2 pins, so you pin it at toward the back and toward the front, and that was meant to lay on a lady's shoulder.
Oh, how fabulous. I just saw one of those in an antique mall, but it was in a case, and they had it for $300, but it was just,
oh man,
it was really stunning.
Yeah, they're really fun. But all these pieces on here, they have movement, they have sections. So this is another collection within my collection, of pieces that move and bend, and very fun to wear. Of course, you've probably all seen the owls. They usually have owls. I didn't put an owl on the board because they're a little more common, but
I do have an articulated mouse that has a tail that's jointed.
Oh yeah,
and that
I have a mouse.
And he has a little top hat and a bow tie. He's adorable.
Yeah, I love this. Just again, movement, texture, interactive.
Very fun. And Vinny's asking if Elizabeth Taylor had that over the shoulder brooch.
I don't know that. That's interesting. I'm gonna have to look that up. They did make a bracelet also. My jewelry show partner had a bracelet that she had up for auction that matched it, and it did the same thing, but it was an actual bracelet. So
that is just incredible.
Yeah. Oh, and this guy down here, these guys, he actually plays his little violin.
Whoa. I don't think I've ever seen anything like that.
Yeah.
He's unique.
I've yet to put him on a necklace, but and then of course the cowboy is pretty fun too. So lots of different pieces. If you're out looking, these are really fun to have. This one's a brooch, and then it's got the matching necklace next to it.
I like the little Tin Man. He's fun.
Yeah.
Is that modeled after Wizard of Oz?
He may be. I don't know. I don't think he looks more like a clown or a harlequin.
Oh, maybe he is a clown. Yeah, now that
I get up close,
he's a clown.
But this could be a whole collection. If you want to start, maybe you're looking for articulating jewelry. So
there's so many different types of jewelry that people can collect.
Yes. Sure, that's up there. Now, this is a new piece, and this one I bought. I do a live show every Monday night on Instagram called Baubles and Bling with my partner Nicole, and this was one that I bought from her.
Yeah.
And it's a brooch. It's a brooch, Katie.
And it's grapes. Holy
it's grapes. It's a brooch. It's shiny. It's fabulous. It's so fabulous that it needed 2 pins because it's so big. This is my largest brooch in my collection.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
That's just the kind of statement that you
need the right outfit, but
a black cocktail dress, I think, would be really fun.
Yeah. So that's my newest and my largest brooch.
And do you have any duo brooches in your collection?
Duo
brooches. I just recently found a couple of them, but they are brooches that connect together, and then you can pull them apart and wear them as clip earrings.
Yes. Well, these are not. This is a duo brooch here, but it is not actually earrings. It is a brooch, which you would pin it on. I love jewelry that serves other purposes. So this you would pop off. So you pop it in the back, and this comes off. They'll both come off, and these become shoe clips.
Oh.
So the back has the clip on it here, and then you would put this on your shoe. You tuck it into your shoe, and that would just liven up your shoe. So you can wear it as a brooch, or you can take those off and use them as shoe clips. So it's just genius, right?
Very ingenious.
Now, is that similar to what you have, Katie?
That is very similar to what I have. Now, I'm curious. I wonder if a lot of these dual-purpose jewelry pieces were made when people probably couldn't buy multiple sets of jewelry.
Possibly, yeah. Or just, you know, kind of a gimmick too, just to get people to buy it. Now this is, I don't know if you've ever seen one of these, Katie. This is really fun. I've actually stumbled upon two of them, and they made different ones. So these are this is the brooch right here. Your just basic brooch, right? It's called a dusk to dawn brooch, because in the daytime you would wear it like this, and then at night you would turn it around
Magic.
and put that on your little black dress.
Oh my word. I am totally mesmerized, folks. This
And
is
I'll tell you something, when I first had one, I did not know what it was. I had it and I said, this brooch is really loose. You know, it's maybe it needs to be fixed. And as I was fiddling with it, it popped out, and I realized what it was. And then when I looked it up, I was excited.
Oh, that's very cool. I probably would have said that was a glasses holder had I not known
Yeah.
that it had the dual function of being a nighttime brooch as well.
Yeah. So another thing, you know, you got day, you wear it in the day, and then at night you just spin it around, or stop it wherever you want. As many diamonds as you want to show.
Now, are those pretty easy to find, or are you finding that they're a little
No.
rare?
No, and they're kind of pricey.
Those are amazing.
Very fun.
Now, LJ has a really interesting question. She's asking, do you have any jewelry made out of layers of automotive paint during the car paint process and car manufacturing? I have Ford pieces from the 1960s.
Not that I know of. That's new to me. So I don't even know about that. I'm going to have to, maybe I'll research online and see if any of my pieces are, but not that I'm aware of. No.
That's fascinating. I definitely have to look that up now as well.
Yeah, I'm learning all the time, Katie. Having this show on Monday nights, we learn from our buyers, from our customers and our viewers, because, you know, we'll hold something up and they'll say something, you know, that we don't even know about it, which is fun. You can't know about all this. I mean, there's just too much. There's too much to know.
And that's the wonderful thing about our community. I've said this before, whether you're coming from YouTube or Instagram, but we all help each other learn things. And I always learn from somebody in my comments section in my videos posting something. And I'm always like, whoa, that's so cool. It's a fun path of discovery.
Right. But there's great books out too. Almost every, like Trifari has a book and Monet has a book. So a lot of the costume jewelry, the larger costume jewelry makers will have a book. Did I say Napier? Yeah. So you know, you can go and get books if you like a certain designer, you can get books. This one is one of my newer ones, which I really like. It's just costume jewelry identification and price guide. I don't care about the price guide as much,
right?
It's yeah. And when I sell jewelry on my show, you're getting you get great buys, because I'm ready to let it go. So it's not something that I really need to know is the price necessarily. But this is kind of where I've been learning about the housing and dating the pieces. So this is a great book. It's by Warmans.
I have a depression glass guidebook that I arguably say is like the vintage Bible of depression glass, because I mean, this is, to me, it's one of the best books out there, and it's made by Warman. So I definitely love all Warman's books. I think they're great.
Yeah, they can be pricey, but they're well worth it if you can find them too. A lot of them are out of print, but
I like thriftbooks.com. I mean, I'm not sponsored by them, but I do find a lot of good out of print books on their website for vintage identification guides.
Yeah, I've bought some books from them too, as far for mid-century stuff like glass and different. I'm still learning on that too, even though I've been collecting it forever. But
there's always things to learn, and that's just the cool part.
Yes. So I did want to share some jewelry helpers too, if I can. This is not necessarily jewelry, but it's things that can help you out if you you know, wearing jewelry. Like for instance, and these are things that you can buy probably on Amazon or, you know, anywhere really, you know, just do a search for them. But like if you've got necklaces that are really hard to get on, they make these little jewelry clasps that are really strong magnets, and one end has a little spring clasp. So you just attach it to your necklace, and then the other end has a circle where the spring clasp on the necklace would go. And then it turns it into, if I can even do it, the magnet is so strong. I don't even know if I can open it. It turns it into a magnet. See how strong it is?
Oh,
Magnet instead. So this would be a magnet.
that is very handy.
Oh no, this one's a screw on. That's why I'm having so much trouble. This one is
little lobster claws are so hard to get on by yourself sometimes.
Or if you get some needle nose pliers, and you can go to Michael's and buy larger lobster claw hooks. I've done that too on some necklaces, just to help. And then this little thing here I have one with 2 and I have one with 3. See how it has 2 little hooks on it, and then this side has 2 little loops. If your chain, when you wear 2 chains and they twist all the time?
Yes.
This will help to prevent it from doing that, just simply by using this on the back and connecting your necklace at each end, because it separates them in the back. So this is a great helper for jewelry wearers out there. And then this is the one with the magnet. Same thing, only with a magnet instead of the twist. And then the other thing that I love to help with jewelry, and they come in different sizes, is a little jewelry hoop that you can use on, say, for instance, you have some beads and you want to, I didn't bring any beads tonight, and you want to wrap them around and kind of loop them in the front so that they're shorter. Maybe they don't fit around your neck twice. You can use this as a loop. You can use this with a scarf, throw a scarf through it, or you can use it as an extender on a necklace to kind of make it a little bit longer. So all these things are great to, to help you make your jewelry, more wearable. There's also chain extensions, just get yourself a little chain extension to make your chains a little longer. So
it's just so handy to know about these things, specifically with vintage jewelry, where sometimes we might shy away from it because it has those things that make it harder to wear.
Yeah. So those, look for those things. I in the jewelry section, sometimes they have a little section with jewelry backs and things like that you can get. And if earrings fall down on your ear, they're too heavy, these kind of big giant backs are going to help keep them held up on the back of your ear. You'd be surprised how well they work. So
now Melinda's asking, where do you buy the multi-chain thing?
Online. Online, I got that. I don't know the name of it, but there are several companies that make those. And if you just kind of do a Google search, maybe chain. I don't even know what it would be called. How you would do a Google search on it. I will. I'll try and post something up on my Instagram. If you go to my Instagram in the next couple days, I'll try and research that and find out where it came from.
Fantastic. Now we got just a few more minutes left on the show, and I think a lot of people are really curious about your flower brooches. And you showed one of your cases, but I think it would be fun to see another case that you have.
Okay. All right. And this is my full collection. These are all that I have. Well, all that I have. It's a lot. But I was able to fit all of my flower brooches in 2 glass cases.
I love that navy blue and aqua blue brooch. I just think the colors together on that are gorgeous.
Yeah. And they're very popular right now.
Oh, I've seen people taking them and putting them in flower frogs.
Oh.
And making a whole gallery. Magpie Ethel does that, and Vintage Uprising Texas Tammy has also shown her collection, and they put them in the window, so it looks like a whole garden of flowers.
That's such a great idea.
Now,
these are so fun to look at. This was when I got these cases. I wasn't sure which brooch collection I was going to put in it, but it was a no-brainer when I opened the drawer and I said, "Oh yeah, the enamel flowers need to go in there." So
it really does look like a 3D art sculpture.
Yeah. And easy for me to get to, and the back is cushioned, and you can find these. You could use something like this for any kind of jewelry. You could use other brooches. You could use, you could just take stick pins, straight pins, and put them at each side and drape bracelets or necklaces and display them this way. So it's a nice way to enjoy your jewelry in a little shadow box.
And enjoying it is the key.
Yes, as much as possible.
Do you have any other pieces in your collection you'd like to share with us tonight?
I know that I'll share some of my snake bracelets. I know that people, oops, one of them fell off. One of them ran away. This has been very popular. We've had a lot of people asking about snake bracelets on our shows. And this one happens to be by Whiting and Davis. No, that's not the Whiting and Davis. This one is Whiting and Davis, who makes those great purses out of this material. And of course, the eyes, you know, sometimes have the stones. This one's all blinged out, but these are really fun to find and hard to find. So
I think I have seen, is it Cartier that makes some of the really expensive snake bracelets I've seen?
Yeah.
Those are so fun.
Yeah, they're very fun to find, and you know, they have rings and necklaces that are snakes, but that's a very popular thing right now that people are looking for in jewelry, in vintage jewelry.
Now, Tippy Winks has a great question for you, Christy. She's saying, someone asked, is there a way to make clip earrings more comfortable?
You can buy cushions for them. I didn't show the little cushion. This little cushion here, right here, it's a little plastic cushion, would go right over, let me get one that doesn't have one on it already, on the back. So you buy these little cushions, you stick them on, and then that will help. It'll help them stay on, and then it'll also give you a little cush. They also sell ones that are sticky that will go on this side, a little cushion tab that will go there. And you can just search. You can search for those online too. They're pretty easy to find. I've even seen them at Walmart.
That's fantastic. And I wish I could wear a lot of the earrings, but I'm allergic to all things metal, so I have to be careful what I wear. So some of the vintage clip-ons are a little bit hard, but I love the brooches because they don't touch my skin and they're perfect.
Yeah. You got a great style, Katie. I got to admit, you got a good style going.
Thank you, Susie. So as we're wrapping things up, if there's one thing that you can tell people that they need to look out for when collecting vintage jewelry, what would be your advice?
Well, I think I said it before, just something that's going to make you happy, you know, and you know, start small and ask questions, ask about the history. You're going to love it a lot more if you know the history of it.
There's a lady here at our local antique mall. I'll definitely send you pictures next time I'm there, but she has 4 floor-to-ceiling cases of brooches. And she has traveled the world. She's gone all over the place to buy brooches, and she has a massive collection of Austrian brooches. And they are just, I mean, to die for. It's sparkle heaven over there.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, I would die for that. It's so good.
So good. Well, thank you, Susie, for coming on tonight. It was just so fascinating. People love the vintage jewelry. I think bringing back the brooch and all vintage jewelry is really coming back in the style now. Yeah, and it's affordable. It's an affordable, small, doesn't take up a lot of room, fun thing to collect. And that's nice too when you live in an apartment or someplace small, like you mentioned. The brooches are great because I can put them in small jewelry cases. Probably not the best way to store them, but they don't take up a lot of room in my space. You know, and you can use them in decorating as well. You know, if you have a lampshade that needs a little you know, bling on it, stick it on a lampshade or stick it in a candle, you know, a pillar candle, take a brooch and stick it in there as a decoration. Use them in all different ways. You really can. And I bet that's great for some of the brooches that maybe the clasps aren't working anymore. You can find a way to repurpose them. Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, this has been so much fun, Susie. Guys, definitely go follow Mid-Century Maven on IG. She is fantastic. Christy's been great. She's been dropping the link. So definitely go on over there, check her out. Now, what is coming up next for you on your Instagram account?
Instagram, I have two accounts. My Mid-Century Maven will direct you to my other one, which is Vintage Jewelry Maven. And every Monday night, I do a live show. We do a live sale and show because we have guests and things on there. And you can buy vintage jewelry right there with us. Nicole and I, my partner, we go all out. We display it really lovely, and we have a lot of fun. There's lots of laughs, and that's every Monday night at 8 o'clock Eastern time, Baubles and Bling.
And let me tell you, they do display it so beautifully. It is artfully done. Always great eye candy.
Thank you so much, Katie. That's nice.
Well, guys, we're going to wrap up for the evening. A couple of things going on this evening in the vintage community. I know there's lots happening on Instagram, so go over there, check that out. But on YouTube, I believe there's several sales happening. Kat and Gina will be selling together, I think, for their vintage evening sale. And so definitely go check that out. That's Calypso Cat that's been in the chat, and then Gina at Vintage Digs. And I'm sure there's other things happening tonight. But definitely go follow everybody and keep up with Angela on Instagram, because she shares the calendar for our vintage community here on YouTube, so you can see what's happening for the evening and tune in to more sales and fun things after this. So guys, as always, I hope you will stay in, stay safe, and binge YouTube, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Welcome.